Conventionally, the establishing shot should introduce the star to the viewer. However, we decided to manipulate this convention and use the lighting of candles as the establishing shot. I think this worked well because the candles became a motif throughout the music video to symbolise the current state of the relationship. In the establishing shot, the lighting of the candle symbolises Ben Austen's attempt to continue in the relationship despite his love interest being uninterested. A crossfade from the candles into the next long shot of Ben and Abby works effectively because it encourages the audience to assume that the candles represent their relationship.
I should ink my skin.
Next, we cut to the close-up of Ben's hands playing the piano. This is effective because it adheres to conventions as the visuals link to the track's instrumentation.
With your name.
In this shot, the star is introduced. However, we decided to break conventions by not instructing the actor to look into camera while singing, because we wanted to convey that he was lost in his own thoughts, trying to understand where the relationship went wrong. The intensity of the lighting has also been reduced in this shot to connote Ben's low mood. The use of duller lighting is also a convention of pop acoustic music videos. Upon reflection, the lighting may reduce the viewer's ability to see Ben, which may have decreased their ability to identify him as the star image.
We adhere to conventions in the next shot by using a low-angle shot to introduce Ben's love interest as something that he idolised. This also introduced Todorov's theory of equilibrium because in the beginning of the relationship, Ben is certain his relationship is successful. We also used a naturalistic background of trees to connote Abby's natural beauty.
We then used a match cut of a leaf to ensure our video had continuity. We also used Ken Burns to zoom in to the water droplet on the leaf, which effectively symbolises Ben's melancholy disposition as he relives the memories of his relationship.
And take my passport out again.
The next cut shows Ben playing the piano in an over-the-shoulder shot. We followed conventions by choosing to show Ben singing. However, instead of singing into camera, he focuses on the piano, as this creates a representation that he's passionate about music. I think this is effective. However, upon reflection, we could have added more shots of Ben playing the piano and singing into camera, which would have made it easier for the viewers to identify him as the star image.
Just replace it.
The close-up of the two passports support Goodwin's theory as the lyrics "Take my passport out again" link to the on-screen visuals. The pink passport is right of frame and the blue one is pushed from left of frame to the position of the pink passport. This action symbolises Ben's desperate need to rekindle his relationship with Abby. I like the subtlety of this symbol, which requires an active audience to understand.
See, I could do without a tan on my left hand.
A cut is then made to a high-angle shot of Ben's hands on the piano, which successfully reinforces the idea that Ben is singing about the relationship in real time and experiencing flashbacks of the relationship, as the lyrics of the song help him to recall the memories. The cut to the medium close-up of the couple holding hands takes advantage of the natural light, and I like the use of the sun in this shot.
And when my fourth finger meets my knuckle.
We then use this bright natural light as inspiration for the fade into the next shot. The fade we chose was a sharp flash of light called bloom, which links the previous shot and the close-up of the candles together. This is effective because it creates continuity throughout the music video. For this shot we used a pull focus. The shot begins blurred and then gradually fades into focus. This symbolises Ben's ignorance of Abby's unfaithfulness, as well as Abby's unhappiness in the relationship.
And I should run you a hot bath and fill it up with bubbles.
We have successfully used a shallow focus on this shot to draw the viewer's attention to the stream of water. A match cut from the tap to the candles on the other side of the bath successfully connects the Ben's attention to detail in drawing Abby the perfect bath. A cut to Ben is made as he sings Bubbles. The match cut allows the viewer to assume that Ben is recalling all the things he did for Abby, despite feeling regretful that it was still not enough.
'Cause maybe you're lovable.
This close-up of the shaky flower blowing in the wind is the first hint of an unstable relationship, and therefore Todorov's disequilibrium. The flower is pink, so represents Abby and her disinterest in the relationship, which is one cause of its deterioration. Upon reflection, this sign of disequilibrium may not be clear to all the target audience. However, I still think it is an interesting cue for the more active audience. The next shot shows Ben being reflective and singing into camera. This is conventional as it shows Ben's emotional connection to the lyrics.
And maybe you're my snowflake, and your eyes turn from green to grey. In the winter I'll hold you in a cold place.
The blur to Abby links the lyric, "You're my snowflake," to the visuals of Abby shivering. The close-up of Abby's eyes also link the lyrics, "Your eyes turn from green to grey," to the visuals. The rolling of her eyes is also another sign of disequilibrium in the narrative, as well as introducing Bart's enigma as the viewer must decide why she is rolling her eyes. The blur transition to the next shot of trees was used as a match cut for the next location.
And you should never cut your hair, 'cause I love the way you...
Ken Burns was used effectively to get a close-up of Abby. In accordance to Prop's theory, Abby is seen as the princess in this shot as she appears innocent and beautiful. This also shows Todorov's theory of being in a state of equilibrium. However, Ben is reaching out to Abby in this shot, which links to how he has to obtain her in the relationship.
off your shoulder.
Following Goodwin's theory, Ben is singing into camera. We also found the natural framing worked very well in these shots as it helps to draw the attention of the viewers to the artist.
We used a pan in this shot with the tripod, which was difficult, however I am happy with the outcome. Abby is applying red lipstick, which suggests she is promiscuous and vain. Bart's theory is present here, as this is a symbolic sign which hints at her infidelity.
And you will never know just how beautiful you are to me.
We used a bloom transition when the next shot was of candles, and this again shows Bart's theory of symbolic signs for their relationship. We used the same transition for each shot of the candles in order to have synergy throughout the video. We then used a Gaussian transition tool to cut to him. We adhered to conventions as he is singing into camera again.
But maybe I'm just in love when you wake me up. And would you ever feel guilty if you did the same?
We wanted to suggest the idea to the active audience that Abby is being watched, which I think we achieved. This would connote the idea that Ben is controlling in the relationship. We broke the conventions and showed Ben's possessive nature by superimposing a shot of CCTV with a timer filter, along with editing the coloration of the clip. We feel this suggested the idea effectively using these tools. We broke conventions as we used a still image and cropped the image each time to get closer up of the artist's face, to display how she is again being watched and smothered in this relationship. I think this was an effective break of conventions because the use of black and white helps to suggest she is doing something wrong while she is wearing her promiscuous red lipstick and smiling at her phone.
To me.
The idea of Abby doing something wrong is again reinforced here as she is checking her phone smiling. This shot does add to our social comment of how relationships are conducted through technology, therefore our storyline revolves around digital communication. This is useful as it may have made the social comment more obvious to those members of the target audience that did not previously understand.
Could you make me a cup of tea to open my eyes in the right way?
Goodwin's theory of linking lyrics to visuals is shown here, as well as cutting on the beat. The cup of tea is shown in medium close-up being made, along with Julian literally making her a cup of tea. This also shows continuity editing, as Ben is shown entering the room. Abby's red nails successfully suggest her promiscuousness, and the hiding of her phone when Ben enters the room suggests she has a secret in the relationship. The pink mug she receives also links to her femininity and adheres to the stereotypes.
And I know you love Shrek because we've watched it 12 times. But maybe your whole...
The intertextuality is used here as well as the links to visuals with the use of a Shrek DVD. This is displayed through an over-the-shoulder shot. This shows their relationship as Abby is clearly calling all the shots while Ben is so in love with her he will do whatever she likes.
Hoping for a fairy tale too. And if your DVD breaks today, you should have got a VCR. Because I've never owned a Blu-ray. True say.
Overcranking was used of Abby flicking her hair with a point of view shot to show how Ben views and adores her. The panning of the two in the park allowed the natural sunlight to create pixel on the screen as well as showing the natural beautiful environment. However, despite the beautiful environment, Abby is still extremely uninterested, which shows she has her thoughts elsewhere.
And now I've always been shit at computer games, and your brother always beats me. And if I lost...
This shows a stereotypical boy playing video games, and Ken Burns was used effectively in order to gain a close-up of his reaction with the game. This also effectively follows Goodwin's theory as we link to visuals. The high-angle shot of the remote also effectively creates continuity in the editing. Similarly, is linked to how online video games are inferior and that those who play are becoming consumed by society trends. Upon reflection, the social comment may not be completely clear to the younger target audience. It would have been useful to include more shots which support the social comment that we are trying to make. This also represents, despite appearing to be this innocent boy, Ben still has anger and frustration in him and foreshadows the upcoming event of further disappointment.
I go across and chuck all the controllers at the TV, and then you'd laugh at me and be asking me if I'm...
The cross-dissolve of the money is a social comment, which symbolises the way people frequently waste money on materialistic items which they ultimately mistreat. This also links to how much money is spent in a relationship, as Ben purchased a necklace to repair the disequilibrium, which again links to Todorov's theory. The use of shots which support theory enabled us to make the video more interesting. Continuity editing was also used to link the close-up on the necklace to the medium point of view shot, portraying what the audience can assume is Abby's point of view of Ben appearing to hide the necklace from Abby.
I'm gonna be home next week, and then you'd lie with me till I fall asleep and flutter eyelash on my cheek.
We used a match cut with a short cross-dissolve of the sun to the location of Abby walking towards the camera to successfully set up the event. We broke conventions as he was not looking into the camera, however I think this breaking of conventions worked well because it foreshadows the events that are to come as he reflectively looks down.
Between the sheets, and you will never know just how beautiful you are to me.
The match cut shows the audience the text messages Sophie has received, again through the digital technology. In accordance with props theory, this is where Joe, who sent the text message, would appear as the villain. The use of the quick transition works well because it connotes the idea that in a flash instance everything can change in a situation and you must adjust. The use of two shots shows the two cuddling on the bench.
But maybe I'm just in love when you wake me up.
Ken Burns is successfully used to highlight the lyrics in the chorus and how they reflect the pain he feels.
I've missed you.
I've missed you too.
The shot-of-burst shot breaks conventions as we insert diegetic sound of communication between Joe and Abby. The words "I miss you" suggest this has been going on longer than the viewers anticipated. Although this is a break of conventions, I think it works well because it allows the audience to further understand Joe and Abby's relationship.
Conventions of the music video are broken as you hear the diegetic sound from the glasses clinking together to cheers one another. I think this break of conventions is also effective because it creates reality to their relationship. The shot also adheres to conventions as it supports Goodwin's theory of linking the lyrics to visuals.
And I think you hate the smell of smoke. You always try to get me to stop. You drink as much as me, and I get drunk a lot. So we'll take it to the beach and walk along.
The quick flash transition cuts to a match cut of Abby, who is now romantically involved with Joe. We use the natural scene to frame them both. This is where props theory may be present, as the audience may now view Abby as the villain.
And walk along the sand and I'll...
Ben is portrayed in a right-of-frame reaction shot after viewing Joe and Abby together. This is an effective use of framing because the continuous use of right and left framing throughout the music video highlights Abby's lack of interest in Ben because he is no longer at the centre of her life.
make you a heart pendant.
This is a point of view shot and has a longer shot length to reinforce how Ben must be feeling seeing this incident.
With a pebble held in my hand, and I carve it like a necklace.
The close-up of Ben's tear encourages the audience to empathise with him and reinforces the disequilibrium in the narrative.
The heart falls where your chest is, and now a piece of me is a piece of the beach, and it falls just where...
The
jump cut is breaking conventions as we repeat the shot. This worked well because it enables us to emphasise how time became a blur in that heartbreaking moment that he experienced.
It needs to be and rests peacefully. So you just need to breathe to feel my heart against yours now. Against yours now. 'Cause maybe I'm just in love when you wake me up.
The flashback transition and the change in coloration emphasises how these are now flashbacks. We then cut back to Ben singing into the camera. This effectively highlights to the viewer that he's singing and remembering all the happier memories that he and Abby shared. The flash cut on the beat effectively connotes that Ben is remembering painful memories of when he saw Abby and Ben together for the first time. The average shot length has rapidly decreased. This is unconventional for a pop acoustic music video. However, it works effectively because it connotes Ben's struggle to decide whether to abandon the relationship despite remembering how happy he used to be.
A cut is then made to a shot of Abby laughing at Ben. This is an effective shot as it highlights to the audience that Ben and Abby's relationship was once happier, which enables them to fully understand Ben's turmoil as he realised that it must end. This next shot shows Ben getting frustrated at the video game.
The next shot is a match cut. He is shown to be raising his hands to his head in frustration outside while kicking the leaves. This is effective as it reinforces the idea that he is angry as well as upset.
Or maybe I'm just in love.
Another match cut is made between the memories and the shots of Ben angrily walking through the leaves in present time. The continuous use of match cuts throughout the montage works effectively because they reinforce the idea that the sepia shots are Ben's memories. This is clear to the audience because Ben performs an action in the memories which is then repeated in a similar way in present time.
When you wake me up.
The cut is not made on the beat but instead is made in sync with Ed Sheeran singing and changing of notes. This works well because it further decreases the average shot length, which is effective because it implies Ben's fast reliving of the memories.
Maybe I fell in love when you woke.
The cheers shot is repeated in the montage, however I think this shot now has a different meaning. It worked well because it connotes Ben's final acceptance that himself and Abby are ultimately parting.
Me.
The close-up shot of the necklace is also repeated in the montage. This successfully makes the viewer feel sympathy for Ben as it reminds them of his good nature. In terms of Pop's character roles, this may re-establish Ben as the hero in the narrative. Ben is shown walking quickly up to the camera from the right of frame and crying. He then turns and walks away. Whether Todorov's theory of new equilibrium applies here is relatively ambiguous. However, I think Ben's walking away here may satisfy the audience as he has escaped the unhappy relationship. The closing shot portrays the candles, which have been represented throughout the music video. However, this time they are extinguished, which successfully implies that the relationship is now over.